Pakistani cricketer and retired army officer NAUSHAD Ali Rizvi is a living legend. In Pakistani army, he retired as a colonel. As an opening batsman and the wicketkeeper in 6 test matches, he scored 900 in 1965. Additionally, he has worked as an administrator and match referee. To choose the next Pakistani coach in 2011, the PCB formed a committee of 3 former players, Zahir Abbas, Intakhab Alam and NAUSHAD Ali. A new junior selection committee of 6 people was also announced by the PCB. NAUSHAD Ali, a former test opener, served as its chairman in 2007. A 29-year commission with the no blemishes, various administrative, technical and sensitive jobs in the civil and military services were filled by the members of army between 1967 to 1996. Due to cricket and army commitments, he traveled and represented Pakistan in international cricket games. A professional with knowledge of both local and international electronic and print media, good media relations when managing the 1993 Australian tour of Pakistan cricket team, accumulated spotless professional experience serving as a media organizer for the series against England, West Indies and India between 2005 to 2007.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. First of all, a very happy Independence Day to all of you out there, whether you're living in Pakistan or all around the world. Now, the fact is that we always bring you some special content on Sports Extra. And like every year, this time on Independence Day, I think the best way to celebrate Pakistan's independence is by honoring people who have really lived up to the expectations of this flag and this motherland that we know. Now, obviously serving Pakistan is something that we all want, but there are some chosen individuals, I would say some blessed individuals who are given the opportunity to represent Pakistan, wear the national colors, wear a uniform if they're men in uniform. And the gentleman we're going to be introducing you to and honoring today on Sports Extra is someone that I have learned so much from, whether it's the laws of the game, whether it's the technicalities of the game, whether it's the history, which is always very important regarding cricket. And you know, it's truly an honor that we have his shadow over us, and we always turn to him whenever we are in times where we need some guidance as well. Now, this gentleman, of course, his history and his career is something that we would be highlighting today on the show as well. But what's the most interesting fact, one might say, and I think that is that he's not just wore the national colors, but he's also served Pakistan as a man in uniform as well when you talk about Pakistan Army. A young boy born in 1943 in Gwalior, British India. When you talk about that long ago, at that time it was in British India. And then, you know, throughout the ages, history, everything in between, we'll talk all about that. But 1965 becomes a very important milestone where we see a test debut against New Zealand for this young wicket-keeping batsman who makes history. And then throughout his career, he represents Pakistan cricket, whether he's playing, whether he's off the field as an administrator, then goes on to the coveted position of an ICC match referee as well, which is the most coveted position as an official at the helm of affairs at the International Cricket Council. Travels all around the world as a team manager, as an administrator, various roles, whether it's at the Pakistan Cricket Board, whether it's director cricket operations, whether it's handling the media, whether it's you know, shadowing the team along as a team manager, working with the youth, women's cricket, whatever you can think of as a cricketer, this gentleman has achieved it all. And we're very, very lucky today on Sports Extra that we get to honor on Independence Day the man who is a living legend himself, former test cricketer, ICC match referee, and like I always say, one of my greatest teachers, Colonel NAUSHAD Ali. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you very much, Ahmed.
Sir,
pleasant.
Sir, how are you, sir?
Fine, thank
sir,
you. Sir,
first of all, a very happy Independence Day to you, sir.
Thank you, and same to you.
Thank you very much. Now, sir, you know, I have shared a platform. I've been very honored to share a platform with you multiple times. Yeah. But I've never gotten a chance to ask you, you know, about that young boy who was born in Gwalior and then grew up through the ages and then decided that, you know, after moving to Pakistan that he's going to serve the Pakistani forces and at the same time play cricket as well.
Yeah.
So talk us through that journey. What do you remember most about your childhood?
Well, it's a long journey. And I'm exactly, I'll say, I'm not nearing 80. I'll be 80 on the 1st of October.
Inshallah.
Born 1943. You know. Like at the other family, we traveled. My father was a government servant. We traveled to Karachi, obviously, and then joined the government services also. There, in my childhood, I had very good chance of education. And there also I picked up the sports in particular, particular cricket. I played for my college, I played for my university, and then I made my prominent name just in 3 years. What I'm trying to say that I started cricket in 1961. By the time 64, I was in the Pakistan colors. And after that, I was picked up by the Pakistan selectors, and I still remember they were pretty senior selectors on those times, like Fazal Mahmood, like Hanif Mohammed, and all that. And then we traveled to England as a Pakistan Eagles. Pakistan Eagles that was the one team that used to produce the meat for the Pakistan team. I mean, I was one of those cricketers who were with Majid Khan, Asif Iqbal, and all those who made the great mark, Mushtaq Mohammed, Sadiq Mohammed, and then Asif Masood. We made the great mark in the Pakistan cricket. And there the journey started. And then next year I played the Test cricket.
So it's a very interesting concept, the eaglets, which we now know as the modern day Shaheens as well. So that's interesting that we see this as well. But at the same time, you know, I'm a bit focused on where I can picture a young 19-year-old boy sharing a dressing room in Pakistan colors and having so much on his mind. What was that experience for that young boy of going into the Pakistan dressing room?
But I still think, I mean, it's the best stage where you can pick up the, even now what is PSL doing? What is other leagues doing? I mean, youngster, 19-year-old, 20-year-old, sharing the dressing room with the seniors, very, very senior, world-class cricketers. What they are learning the basics of the game, learning the surprises of the game. And so it was for me, I mean, I still appreciate that Shaheen or what you call Pakistan A or what you call the Pakistan Eagles, they are all the same concept, and that has given a lot of service to the Pakistan cricket in various aspects.
So sir, once you then move on to a platform where you're going to be debuting for Pakistan as a wicketkeeper, and not just as a wicketkeeper, but as an opener against probably one of the ferocious era of bowling, because you know now I understand it's a batter's game with power plays and 2 new balls and heavier bats and thicker edges. But at that time, remembering no helmets or open helmets and that concept, what was the feeling once you got to know that I'm going to be debuting for Pakistan?
We had no concept. I mean, thigh pad came very late, and we were without helmet, without chest guard, without arm guard. But we were playing against Bartlett, the fastest bowler from the New Zealand. He used to check the ball. But I still remember we used to face it. I mean, we were used to it. And I've seen Majid Khan playing on the other side without helmet and hitting Dennis Lilly 6 over the ropes. So that was the concept. I mean, I'm one of those era where Test cricket was the main thing. Test cricket was the achievement, along with first-class cricket. There was no concept of ODI or T20. I mean, you are having T10 as well, but at that time that was it. But I'll still say that the real cricket, in real sense, is the Test cricket where you judge everything of the player, whether it's stamina, whether concentration, whether it is anything on the ground. And those who have followed the Test cricket, I will still say that those who follow the Test cricket, they still enjoy a ball-to-ball game in the Test cricket.
So what's interesting is that, you know, as a cricket viewer, I can say this, that majority of the focus, if you look at for a batter or a bowler or a fielder, you know, it is phases of play that they're being focused on. But as a wicket-keeper, you're an individual who is in the game throughout, you know, since the game starts and until it ends. So how was that experience behind the stumps?
It is a tough job. It's a thankless job. You see, supposing I keep the wicket for the one day, I mean, how many times I go up and down? 300 times. So my thigh muscles are already built up. And then after finishing that, you come back to the dressing room, you're not even cooled down, you have to go and open the innings. That's a very tough job. I mean, Imtiaz Ahmed has done it, so many others have also done it, so I did. And I think, in a way, that was a trial of your fitness, and I tried. Allah, by the grace of God, it was successful.
But sir, interesting, you mentioned that, immediately you're done with your innings as a wicket keeper and you're straight away put into bat if you're opening the innings like you were. So no concept of having bruised fingers,
Nothing.
or fatigue, but you just have to go and open the batting.
Yeah, well, we had no time to get it repaired. I can give you the example. They are broken, no time to get the fractures straightened. But we have to play because after the wicket keeping, you have to go and bat also. So that was a tough competition. I mean, I was a member of one of those teams which traveled first time to Australia and New Zealand as a test team. And that team, I'm proud to say that team traveled from East Pakistan to China. We were given a very big send-off, and then traveled to Australia and then we played the series in Australia. That was the first test Pakistan played in Australia, and then traveled to the New Zealand where we won the series.
Sir, what was the aura like when the first Pakistani team for a test series is landing in Australia? What was the general perception of that mighty Australians when they saw these young Pakistanis coming at them?
I mean, we were sort of a stranger for the Australians. I mean, I still remember one of the youngsters saying that, "Do you all look like the same?" So what we had a camp at Brisbane for about 2 weeks. That was a tough job, and then after that we played the first test at Melbourne. Although it was a drawn game, but Pakistan did extremely well. And after that they played the three side games in Adelaide, Perth, and Sydney. We enjoyed it, and that was the first mark the Pakistan team made in Australia.
And if I'm not wrong, sir, that the test that you mentioning, that the one which was a draw, you had a lot, big role in that test as well. You were behind the stumps and you took a couple of catches.
No, I was not. Executive Hanif Mohammed, he was the one. He kept the wickets.
You were as
I was number 2, but since I was just straight away introduced, so then I played the rest of the test matches and the games.
And the games as well. Now, in that course of opening the innings as well, you have a very fond memory of that infamous Karachi test match, where that record partnership was created as well.
Yeah.
What was the talk between you two when you were walking onto the crease? Was there any plan of action that this is how we're going to play this time?
You see, we played in New Zealand, Australia. We came back to Pakistan, and then that was the 64, 60, 65.
Yes, sir.
We had the 3 test match series here. The first test was in Rawalpindi Stadium. That was the only test played there. I was part of it. And then after that, we went to Lahore and then Karachi. Now you mentioned about Karachi, yes, that was a very historical test match.
Sure.
I mean, we played on the Eid-ul-Adha, but still there was full packed crowd.
Jam-packed crowd, yes.
And myself, and I still remember my colleague, Mohammad Ilyas, we had a record partnership against New Zealand, and then we won that test match as well.
So what was the talk when you and Ilyas were going on to bat? What was something? Was there a plan created, or did you just you and Ilyas said that we're just going to play as natural as?
No. It was not like that, because you see, Dick Motts, then there was another fast bowler. They were pretty fast. I mean, they used to bowl. I mean, we do not have the gun, but I'm pretty sure they were bowling more than 150, and bowling well. And then we had tough time against them. We built up the lead, and then plan was to make a mark against New Zealand and send them back without drawing a series. And the best part of that series was that we played 3 test matches, and all 3 there were no change in the team.
In that
Javed Barki was there. Big names. Saeed Ahmed was there, Hanif Mohammed was there, Mushtaq Mohammed was there. They were all part of the team.
So I call that team the Invincibles. I always call, because that was an interesting phase in Pakistan cricket, that for 3 consecutive matches there was no change in the playing 11. So that's the level of confidence that the team was enjoying.
And we had a record partnership in Lahore as well. with the big crowd. That was the first match played, test cricket played at the Gaddafi Stadium. And that, in the very match, it was named as the name after Mr. Gaddafi.
Absolutely. Sir, that phase of your life, playing 6 test matches for Pakistan, countless first-class games in between as well, like you mentioned. But then came a very important paradigm shift in your career, where obviously you were focused on the professional side of it as a man in uniform as well, and obviously that had its own responsibilities. But then again, that transformation of a test cricketer into an ICC match referee is something that I'm always interested to know, because once you're playing, you play according to the laws and rules of the game. But there are often occasions where you don't even know certain boundaries of cricket or the legislation that we say. So how was that journey shifting from a test cricketer, then deciding that I'm going to be ICC match referee?
Well, very good question. I'll say a little bit about the army as well.
Yes, sir.
I graduated. After the graduation, I joined the graduate course in the Pakistan Army. At that time, I already played the test match against New Zealand. When I went to the PMA Military Academy, I was ragged and dragged day and night. Because they thought test cricket has come, you should be doing a tough time. But I took it as a sportsman. And then after that, it was a very good journey in the army. Our army really looked after me as a cricketer, as an officer. I mean, they were posting me at those places where I would continue with my cricket activities. And because of that, I was part of the Pakistan Cricket Board's many appointments, like manager, chief selector. Then I was a part of the Cricket Board management. It's all because army. And when I used to go and play for Pakistan, outside Pakistan, army used to play fully, with only on the tour. So I had many benefits from the army. I still remember, and I still say, if there is a second chance serving, I'll go to the army.
That's wonderful, sir. So some great memories of, that's why we say that, it's the best in the world when you talk about Pakistan Army, that it became a guiding light for your career as well.
Yeah.
But I'm sure PMA was very interesting, sir, because you were always used to ducking bouncers. So whatever they could do, you were completely fine with that as far as sportsman spirit is
I
concerned.
landed there in December, and that was the first day where snowfall was there.
Yes, sir. The harsh winters of
Harsh
PMA.
winter of Aptabad.
Yes, sir.
I was made to sit in the grave where there's so much of snow all around.
A lot of ice dips there as well.
But that was part of the training.
Sir, wonderful. Sir, upon these various appointments, when we talk about as chief selector, then as a manager, then director of operations, as part of the administration, also working with youth and women's cricket, each and every one of them had different responsibilities, but you had the honor to serve in PCB on all of these various roles. How would you say the evolution of Pakistan Cricket Board, because you've seen it in front of your own eyes?
I mean, I have seen the time when the PC was confined to 3 rooms.
Sir.
That was National Stadium, Karachi. Mr. Mustafa was one of those who used to look after it. There was no staff. Only the selectors, chief selector, they used to come, take the instruction and make the team, and they used to travel abroad. But gradually it started coming up. They had some more space, then they have the training camps. After the training camp, then they shifted to the Gaddafi Stadium, Lahore. The construction was complete for the Gaddafi Stadium, Lahore. They had a big PCB setup. There were many facilities. Then we had the beautiful ground along with the office, and a viewing area also for the selectors and for the chairman and everybody else. I mean, we used to enjoy playing there. And then above that, I mean, if you play Gaddafi Stadium, then you have the beautiful cricket academy also. So what I have seen, the rise of the cricket board from a bottom to the top. There were people who served, and then they vanished. But the name is still there as the basics of the cricket. Now, I still have Bashir Ahmed, the groundsman, who used to look after the Pakistan Test cricket pitches. So many others. Agha Sadat was there. Then we had this the Alim Dar. I mean, he is a real magic to the Pakistan cricket. I mean, I remember Aleem Dar used to come like this, a youngster, in the ground, along with the other cricketers. And would you believe it, his decisions are better than the computer. If you want to, I can give you an example.
Sir, please,
It's
yes.
an interesting example. He was doing as an umpire in one of the matches in Sydney. There was a batsman unbeaten. There was a big click, and everybody heard that click also. And then everybody was sure that the batsman is out, but Aleem Dar said not out. When the replay was formed, it was one of my tiny stones that came, hit the bat, and simultaneously the ball also passed. So Aleem Dar could make the difference between the sound of the stone and the ball,
Hitting
so
the
he
bat.
gave a correct decision.
Well, that's remarkable. But you've seen his, and I'm sure not just Aleem Dar, many
Yeah.
journeys of players and officials have gone through your very eyes, and that living to tell the tale. Indeed, sir. This Pakistan Cricket Board setup, now we see many things happening. It's an evolved system
Yeah.
with cricket committees, technical committees. Just recently, they've taken a decision to rebrand the Grade 2 trophy as the Sir Hanif Mohammed Trophy as well.
Yeah.
So that's also something where they're honoring their heroes. Difficult times for Pakistan while you were serving at the helm of affairs as well. We've all seen that rough patch of 2009 and afterwards,
Yeah.
whatever happened, sir. What has been that defining moment for Pakistan cricket as far as keeping PCB intact is concerned? Because the things that Pakistan Cricket Board has seen in that era from 2009 to 2011 and then 12, I would say you have to be very tough from the inside to actually survive that era.
I'll say that ICC, International Cricket Council, its members, they're a solid organization. They got a lot of money. These people, they watch each and every action of their local participants, like Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka. And to ensure that our trust is there, they believe us, we have to have a solid policy of the Pakistan Cricket Board.
The constitution, as you say.
Constitution, everything. I mean, I'll again say that there should not be too many changes. Like if the change of the had the change of the policy, that should not. I mean, the personality should come, contribute, go, but the constitution and all these things, they should remain intact.
Consistent, yes.
So that people outside Pakistan, they believe you. If you have some sort of contract or some sort of arrangement with them, they should be honored.
But sir, forever the focus of Pakistan cricket, or I would say the true essence of Pakistan cricket, has been our domestic cricket structure.
Yeah.
And over the years, there have been so many regimes who have tried to evolve it. Some have tried to change the structure. Some have tried to, make it into something that was probably not suited for our dynamics in this part of the world. Now again, we're in an era where we're moving back to that departmental structure again. You're an individual, when you were playing, sir, you would have seen the rise and the importance of departmental cricket.
Yeah.
How important has it been for Pakistan?
Initially, departments were very keen. They put in a lot of money in that. They would lot of effort in that. And some of the departments, they were so keen that they made their own grounds. Yeah, like UBL, like you have railways and so many others. Even in Pindi, we have the Chaklala ground and then this COD ground, all that. Where the basics of the cricket came. So I think they have contributed, and their contribution should be acknowledged. And I think it was acknowledged. To wipe them out altogether is not a fair idea. I mean, you should have a committee sort of arrangement between the two. Arrangement how? I mean, you accommodate them also and them also. Ensure that they get their due share in terms of money and players selection, and then they support the Pakistan cricket in the right way. I'll say that if you go to the history, I mean, you will see that Pakistan Railways has got 3 grounds to support the cricketers. and they have made a lot of money, cricketers and officials as well.
Strongest as far as infrastructure were
Yeah.
concerned, because we've heard PIA,
Yeah,
National
yeah,
Bank,
PIA, yeah.
National Bank, and then later on we saw ZTBL, SNGPL, all of these departments there as well. So that's interesting when you talk about departmental cricket and what's it, the role of departmental cricket in Pakistan is immense in producing cricketers and then of course giving back to Pakistan cricket as well. But I think, sir, this is an interesting talk and it will continue, but we're going to go towards a short break, and when we come back we're going to introduce you to the lifeline and the support system of Sir NAUSHAD Ali. That is definitely a family for any individual. So we'll talk to the lovely family as well, but right after this short break, stay tuned. Welcome back, and before the break we had some interesting talk about the career of Sir NAUSHAD Ali, but now I think, sir, as you mentioned, that test cricket is the real part of the game, and I think now we move on to the real test, which is the true innings of life, and that is your family, sir. So please talk us through that journey of a young individual then moving on to a family man.
Yes, I'm talking for myself, then I'll talk about
Yes,
my
sir.
kids as well. We are 5, and 3 are doctors, all professionals,
Sir.
except me. I was the one who joined the army.
Sir.
One engineer, 3 doctors. They're doing very well abroad, living well, and there's no problem in that. We had very chance to have the good education, and then we go to serve outside Pakistan.
Sir.
Still my son and others they are working outside Pakistan. No problem. Very happy, very satisfied.
Sir, then comes your life where you eventually join hands with a life partner, and how has that innings been so far?
Well, first of all, I'll say I've been a sportsman.
Sir.
I'm deeply involved with the sport. I played golf, I played cricket, I played squash, so many times. But she's a real education.
Sure.
She's PhD mathematics. She had done this PhD master from UK. Then she taught in USA as well. We were together, no problem, and very happy.
Well, that's very interesting, sir. Talk about a sportsman who's playing all kinds of sports, and you still are playing golf. I know that personally. And then on the other side, you've got an individual who is probably obsessed with her part of the career and a PhD in maths. So that's a very interesting combination, sir.
Very, very interesting. I did not took much interest in the real education. I was only graduate, but she learned the cricket, and she knows the most of the Pakistan cricket about. She talks about cricket as well, and I'm glad that she has made a good combination.
But that means that you always had help calculating DLS whenever you wanted to, because of that maths and figures,
Yes.
averages, strike rates, and everything. The formulas were there. But interestingly, we often say this, that cricket runs in the family or in the blood. And for Sir NAUSHAD, I think it is a statement which is particularly implemented as far as the practical life is concerned as well. Because I know for a fact that the next generation, and then the next, we talk about the grandchildren are professionally involved in cricket. And interestingly, I'm glad to share this because Sir mentioned this to us as well, and we had a brief chat about this some time ago as well, that your granddaughter also is a wicket-keeping batter, and that was very interesting, and that's why I said wicket-keeping is also in the family. But apparently your grandson is also playing cricket. So that's interesting, sir, that grandchildren also interested in cricket. That might make you a very happy grandpa.
She has come up so very well. My daughter,
Yes, sir.
she's living in Glasgow, Scotland, and so my son-in-law is also teaching there in the he's also PhD type. So they have a clubhouse, cricket clubhouse, very close to their home, and these kids, they've been watching cricket all the time. And granddaughter, she's a tough girl, playing hockey first, hitting the goras with a full length of the stroke, and now she has picked up the cricket. She has done it so very well that she's a lovely wicketkeeper, tough guy, and then hitting six on the very first ball of the game also. So she's doing well. She's a part of the Scotland #1 team for the women's.
Absolutely, sir. We saw that in that
And
tournament
then
as well, and
you
that's
can see
the
this
picture.
photograph here.
Yes, sir. The granddaughter Mariam Faisal.
Mariam Faisal.
Mariam has been a very interesting prospect for Scotland cricket. And sir, not
Just
just
wanted to add.
Yes, please.
My son-in-law,
Yes, sir.
he is a twin brother to Mariam. He is a great fast bowler. He has joined Worcestershire as a second 11, and he at the age of 18, he can bowl about 125 or 130.
So both Ibrahim and Mariam that we can see in the pictures are both cricketers.
Both cricketers.
That makes you a very accomplished person. So
Thank you.
that you know that my grandchildren are also. So what kind of talk do you have with them, sir, whenever you're conversating about cricket over the phone?
I mean, they'll be following the Pakistan cricket, they'll be following me as well, but they are very good when they are competing among themselves, in the school cricket or the college cricket. And you see, I mean, they have a little bit advantage. I mean, the facilities in England are much better than what our children get here in Pakistan. Likewise, I say that AstroTurf. You have AstroTurf, I think Pakistan 5 or 10. They have 3 AstroTurf in one school. Isn't it? So they have all facilities that give them added advantage. So they are part of the.
They might be playing outside Pakistan, sir, but the aggression of a Pakistani is still there,
Yes,
as far
sir.
as their game is concerned.
They still appreciate. I mean, this is the toughest cricket played in the world is in Pakistan, where you play on the grounds where you dive, you scratch all this
yourself,
thing.
yes, sir.
That's a good part. I mean, they have the facilities, but it's still from the heart, from the teaching, from the living at a home, they are real Muslims.
Sir, alhamdulillah, but that's great to know. But I'm sure, because we often say that a wicketkeeper always has a bag of tricks up his sleeves. So have you given Mariam any advice about some, tricks about wicket keeping as well in this game?
Like you watch this one.
Sir,
I mean, he's got so many tricks. I mean, they've been talking to the slip fielder about addressing somebody else.
yes, sir.
So that thing happens. And wicket keeper, you see, is not the who's keeping the wicket, taking the catches or doing the stump, but he supports the bowler. He sees the height of the pitch. Then he sees the turning of the pitch. He advises to the bowler. He advises to the captain as well.
So and we also say always in the batter's ears as well.
Yes,
Something that
absolutely right.
we saw happening so much with Javed Miandad Saab that it became a monumental meme of the century as well. So that's interesting knowing about Sir's part of the family, but we have another individual we're going to be talking to, and that is where it's a lucky moment that we have the son of Mr. NAUSHAD as well, who's going to be joining us, and we'll talk to him as well. Now we're going to be talking to the son of Mr. NAUSHAD. Ahmed NAUSHAD is joining us as well. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, sir? Well, great to have you, as we are honoring the legacy of your father. So I think it was interesting that we got to know your first-hand experience of that father-son relationship and that bonding that is very iconic in our part of the world. So how has it been growing up, that bond that we all share with our father, that friendship bond, especially for a son? How have you seen it over the years?
Well, he's not just a father, he's more than a father, he's a friend. He's my best friend, let's put it this way. If I have anything I bounce out off of him, I mean, even though I've been living abroad since probably 1995, there's not even a single day we have not spoken. We talk almost at least once, if not twice or more than that, both with my parents. We are very close knit, even though we are far apart. My sister, myself, she lives in Scotland, and I'm living in. Well, I'm traveled quite a bit, but based is in the US and Canada. Yeah, so I mean, it's been we're very close knit. That's all I can say.
But it must be an interesting childhood, having a father who's a cricketer. At the same time, with an army background, all that traveling involved, postings and whatnot, assignments, and then, so what was the key thing that kept you all together as far as this busy life of Sir NAUSHAD was concerned?
Well, yes, the main thing that we have gotten from him and our mother is being an overachiever, being a person who is busy, who is valuable to not just to the family itself, but the bigger circle, the country, the sport, or a specific, specific purpose and motive in life. So what he taught us was, you need to have goals, you need to have plans, and then that's the difference between being successful and focusing your life versus just living life on day-to-day basis. And that is something we spoke to him. If I have, even at this point, if I have career-wise, if I'm stuck between, what should I do, between a couple of things in my life, I talk to him, and he's always given me his perspective, different perspective. What's interesting, when he talks to us, he relates a lot of things to sports. He uses sports as a reference.
As a jargon now.
Exactly. No, and it's true. I mean, because you can apply a lot of the discipline, the principle that's in sports in your life, and you apply that, and actually that makes you help make better decisions as well.
I think that one of the perks of having a father who's a sportsman is that you can always go up if you have made a mess in life and say, Dad, I know you're a sportsman, so you're going to have a big heart if I tell you this. So that is an interesting way.
And the other thing is also, because of him, I have young kids, but the entire family, all of us have some sort of specialty of sports. I used to play tennis in college. I was ex-college tennis player. And when I went to university, I still play tennis about 3 to 4 times a week. And plus I'm a scuba diver as well, so I do master scuba diving. I'm a certified master scuba diver. I have a 6-year-old and an 11-year-old. 11-year-old son, he plays under 13 provincial basketball in Toronto in the provincial basketball. He's also in the tennis academy since he was 6, where
that he got from his dad. So I can make.
No, I did not. He went in himself.
His own choices.
Exactly. No, we didn't. I mean, and then my daughter, she's 6. She's just exploring stuff, but she's into, right now, at the moment, she follows her brother. So she wants to play things, and she's exploring different options. But all of us are, and my wife, she's into yoga. And she's training to be a yoga instructor. So all of this is thanks to him, It's all.
So professionalism has been kept in the family ever since. But it's very nice talking to you, Ahmed, and I think just knowing that once you learned about your father's health, you flew straight in. So that is something that I think really makes a man what he is. That honoring your family, regardless of your commitment or your profession. And I'll just share with our viewers as well, because Sir Naushad wasn't feeling well, and as soon as Ahmed got to know the news, he flew in, and obviously it's a great time to come in as well. We're celebrating Independence Day, but just being with your father, I think for a father, anybody who's got kids, just seeing your children probably makes you feel so much better, no matter how you are doing as far as your physical health is concerned. But thank you very much, Ahmed. It's been great talking to you, and we've got some more interesting things coming your way as well, because I've personally asked Sir Naushad to give me a tour of all the history that he's got stored in this wonderful home of his, so we're going to look at that as well. Now, knowing Sir Naushad has its perks as well, and one of the perks is knowing all that history that is attached with Sir's career. And as we often say that, a picture says 1,000 words. So there's a lot of history in front of me, but first of all, I've got this very wonderful picture, probably back in the 60s when you talk about the concept of the Pakistan eaglet. This is one such picture, and we can see that young boy that we talked about right there in the middle as well. And I was just telling Sir in between that that iconic hairstyle has still been maintained. So that is a remarkable, I think, achievement as far as consistency is concerned for a sportsman to remain with that flick on that one side. But that's interesting. But when I see this picture, I see these faces, and I see 1,000 stories of careers, journeys, of where they all came from. What was the passion, what was the camaraderie between all of these individuals? That is something that we talk about, because that era is full of greats for Pakistan cricket. Pakistan cricket is known for because of these great people. So we'll talk about that. And sir, you know, without any further ado, I'd like you to take us through that pictorial memory. First of all, you've got a fantastic album. The cover is already very iconic. I see a very young, handsome man over there. So just talk us through these pictures, sir, first of all.
Yes, Ahmed. I'll just say a few words about this photograph you have shown to here. You see, this picture was managed by, this tour was managed by PIA Eglates. And that was the start of the young cricketers going to England and the Alf Covers Academy in London for training purposes. The selected cricketers all over Pakistan, they used to pick up. We were managed by Mr. Mia Muhammad Saeed. He was the father-in-law of Fazal Mahmood, the great fast
Sir
bowler.
Fazal Mahmood, yes.
He was the defense secretary as well. And we went there, we learned a lot and made a mark on this tour.
Wonderful, sir. But now, like I said, this cover is iconic. You know, it actually looks like the era of all the famous heroes when you talk about Pakistan, and you look like one of them. It's a very interesting picture.
Yeah, this is the Shalimar Gardens, Lahore,
Sir.
long back. I mean, we used to follow certain delegations, and in that process, that
Sir,
picture was taken.
so you're shadowing them as well. But sir, like I said, you know, once we see your journey and we start with these pictures, this is definitely you. And this blazer looks very iconic, sir.
This is 1950. I'm saying this is a much better blazer.
Sir, we moved on as far as the evolution. But sir, this is an interesting picture. I want you to talk us through this picture.
This is the picture of Oval Ground, 1971. This is Shafqat Rana. This is Mr. IK, and this is myself. We once played against Surrey. This is Surrey's ground, Surrey, and the picture was taken. We were about to bat.
You were padded up, sir. So that is something I can. Now this is a very iconic photograph because this is part of that veterans tour that you were talking about as well.
We had a veterans tour from Pakistan to India,
Sir.
and in that process we went to various cities, played cricket, won also. We were very well given warm welcome by the Indian veterans, and they treated us all over. I mean, I just give a very interesting example. I mean, we were traveling from one place to another place. On the halfway down, the train stopped. It was all dark, and all of a sudden came the hot puris, and then along this potato something, and then Mr. Bishan Bedi he managed all that.
Wonderful. So the hospitality was definitely there. I can identify some iconic faces. It's interesting that you've shared a lot of your time with Mohsin Hassan Khan Sahab, the Lord of Lords as we call him always. So you were there with him on that veterans tour, and then later on when you were a team manager and he was head coach of the Pakistan.
Exactly. He was the Pakistan coach when I was the manager later on. And this is one of the Indian actors. He's used to a villain, I don't remember his name.
But very interesting tour, sir, when we talk about this.
Here is
Yes, sir.
Majid Khan, the Talat Ali, and all those, Harun Rashid, all those.
So we can recognize the Pakistani veterans. So who was playing from the Indian side?
Indian side, the captain was Bishan Singh Bedi, Gaikwad, Rusi Suri.
Yes, sir.
They were all part of the cricket team.
So it was an interesting Indian side as well. But this is another part of your journey. So this looks like a very iconic photograph.
This is Salkot Festival cricket match where people on the drinking, playing less.
And this becomes a very iconic picture. This is Brian Lara, sir. He was skipper of the West Indies team. And if I'm not wrong, this is Multan probably when you were with him as a manager.
Yes, absolutely right. I mean, I have done the PCB as the media manager as well. I used to take the senior cricketers to conduct the press briefing. And Brian Lara was part of the West Indies team when this thing happened. And absolutely right, they were on the second floor of the Multan Stadium.
This looks,
And this
you
is
padded up in a
iconic.
parking lot, sir.
Huh?
You're padded up in a parking lot probably.
You know why? There is a history behind this.
Sir.
You see, I was just a youngster, but with me was Hanif Mohammed,
Sir.
the opening batsman. Then came a handicapped man, and he saw us going, so Hanif stopped, and we had this picture.
So wonderful, wonderful picture indeed. But you know, it's iconic that two young gentlemen have been padded up. And this is probably, sir, one of the hallmark photos. This is the Pakistan cricket team of 1964 and 65.
65. This team This traveled from Pakistan to Australia and New Zealand first time as a Pakistan team. And there were pretty senior cricketers in that. We traveled all over Australia, played 3 side games and a test match, and then after finishing that, we shifted over to New Zealand. Wonderful series, wonderful competition, learned a lot.
Learned a lot indeed as well. Now, sir, this is when you talk about some publications as well, this is all about the Pakistan Eaglets when you talk about them in the 1960s.
I know, Ahmed, you are fond of reading.
Sir.
I'll give you the copy of this book.
Sir, definitely.
This will indicate you how the Eaglets team was formed in Pakistan, which is now Shaheen.
Now Shaheen's
Or
evolved to
Pakistan
Shaheen.
A.
Yes, sir.
And his history, the fellow who has written is an Englishman. He has sent this book to 3 or 4 prominent Pakistani cricketers who were part of this team.
1963, sir. This
Yeah.
this picture, and you know, then I come to my favorite book,
Yeah.
sir. I always say this. My favorite book has always been The Art of Pitch Making, which is the cricket pitch. So I'm guessing that this has been one of your favorites as well as an ICC match referee.
Well, I'll say, I mean, this is a sort of book. I mean, this should be highlighted everywhere. I mean, you know, you're fond because you have read it. You see, cricket is a technical game.
Sir.
It is not just like you go and start playing on any surface. If you look at the contents of this book,
Yes, sir.
it is not a it is such a technical game that this book is written by a head of the department of a South African university. What he has highlighted is a clay combination, sort of pitches like under 17, under 19, test match, ODI pitches. This is all given here. I have given this book to the PCB, and Mr. Agha Zahid is working very well.
So the interesting part of this is that it just does not contain the do's and don'ts for making a cricket pitch, but also the concept of testing a soil, which probably
Yes.
ASSB, if I'm not wrong, which was known as the anti-something test for pitch making as well. So that means that this becomes a complete guidebook for any sort of pitch around the world.
Just making a pitch and using 124 pages indicates that this has got some meat in it.
Sir.
And like Mr. Bashir, I mean, he used to master of making pitches in Gaddafi Stadium. This book is given to Mr. Bashir and explained the contents in their own language. I'm sure that Pakistan could have easily have much better pitches in all over Pakistan.
Absolutely. And then, sir, we come to this PCB annual report where we see you iconically with all the trophies that Pakistan had in their cabinet at that time as well. And interestingly, it's you, Mohsin Hassan Khan, have been a very iconic Pakistani team that that we see over there.
You see, I was manager of the Pakistan team in 2011.
Sir.
And we traveled to Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and from there onwards to Bangladesh. And probably Misbah was the captain.
Yes, sir.
Then Mohsin Hassan Khan was the coach. And this is a very historical picture. I mean, we had many celebrities in this one.
Well, certainly, and the interesting, I think, coincidence is that Mr. Zaka Ashraf was the chairman then, and now he's still at the helm of affairs at PCB.
Yes,
so that's
probably he had the audit of the accounts.
Definitely. Well, sir, you have an iconic photo wall as well. So I would request you if we can see more of that cricket history.
The first one I'll point out here is this Alan Knott.
Sir.
He is #1 wicketkeeper of the world. We are playing against Kent 11 in England. Then I stumped him. This is that picture.
Sir. And interestingly, once a keeper gets another keeper out, so it becomes all the more fun. It becomes all the more fun. Now, this picture on top, sir, is interesting.
It's a very old picture. When I was a youngster, we traveled to Australia, England, and New Zealand. Hanif Mohammed was our captain, and this boy is one of the reserves, Masood Hassan.
These are all your elite mates of the referee panel, sir. If ICC match referees. Yes.
Referee panel. We are friendly. Outside, you should teach and explain each other.
So, who was the funniest of them all? You've got to tell us.
Oh, you know that crooked finger,
sir.
He was part of it.
Billy Bowden, sir.
Billy
Bowden, sir. The iconic Billy Bowden.
Yeah.
Now, sir, this is your prized possessions, the trophy cabinet. I must say. Now, my first, I think, glimpse is of that iconic catch that you've taken, and looks like everybody on the field has gone berserk, including the batsman who can't believe that he's been out.
Yes, I mean, you're absolutely right. This is one of the pictures taken by the local journalist. It's a beautiful picture. I'll describe it like this. You see, this is the third slip, second slip you'll call it. Second slip, Mr. Hanif Mohammed. Then there's John Watt. This is again New Zealand's wicketkeeper.
Yes, sir.
And this is Asif Iqbal. He is a person who used to bowl outside the off stump, very good movement. And he got a thick edge to the bat. The ball was traveling onto the second slip when I took it to 100 catch. And they were appreciated by the local news.
Lancaster Park, 1965, sir.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then, of course, we move on to your friends from the ICC match referees as well.
This is ICC panel for the match referees,
Yes, sir.
plus umpire. And this is John Reed, the great cricketer.
Yes, sir.
There are some certain Englishmen also, South African. All they were together in international panel. This is Sri Lankan. And I still remember Billy Bowden is here.
Yes, sir.
He used to be the new entry to this combination.
Interestingly, he became the most famous of them all as well, sir. But the great thing to know is that cricket memorabilia is there as well, and this is your the entire team with you as well.
Yes.
Probably I think the start to a golden era for Test cricket in modern day cricket for Pakistan.
This is Sharjah.
Yes, sir.
Sharjah Stadium, where I was manager. Misbah Ulaq was the captain. Yunus Khan is here. Ejaz Ahmed is here. Then we have this Mohsin Hassan Khan and Shoaib Malik, all these prominent cricketers who've been a grace for the Pakistan cricket. And this team played in Abu Dhabi, Dubai. We won the series against Sri Lanka, and from there onwards we traveled to Bangladesh.
Absolutely, sir. And I see a lot of names there, probably Azaz Chima, a young Azaz Chima there as well. Saeed Ajmal was the magician in that series. We all remember the amount of wickets. Looks like a very iconic ball, sir, but you need to tell us about this as well.
In 1992,
sir,
soon after the World Cup, Pakistan team traveled to Australia and New Zealand. And that tour, Javed Miadad was captain, Ramesh Raja was vice captain, Wasim Akram, Waqar Yunus, they were all youngsters. And we traveled, we beat Australia in Australia, and then as an honor for the Pakistan team, the Australian Cricket Board chairman gave this ball. What is the best part of this ball? This threads, the wood. This is all exactly the same what is being used is Kookaburra ball.
Kookaburra ball, the iconic Kookaburra ball in Australia. All of this is very interesting, but two parts of your career as well, not just as a cricketer, but as a golfer as well. So you have to tell us about golf now.
Yeah, when I was about to retire, I picked up golf.
Sir.
Picked up very well. And this trophy is the winner of the Veterans Trophy in Islamabad.
Sir.
And we played this championship in Islamabad club, and I won it.
So is it true that, because a lot of these modern day cricketers are moving to golf to improve their swing of the bat as well. So is it true that you got a major people get a major improvement if they're playing golf alongside cricket?
You see, you
Yes,
understand
sir.
cricket.
Yes, sir.
I mean, if you have a swing, the golf swing and the cricket swing, particularly the cover drive, is similar.
Sir.
I mean, like Wasim Akram, he's absolutely good golfer and a hard hitter.
Sir.
So is Waqar Yunus. But the real tactician is Salim Malik. I mean, he places the ball here and there. So there is a combination, there is similarity between cricket and golf as far as the shot making is concerned.
Definitely, sir. But like I said, this is a very star-oriented this trophy cabinet of yours, and I'm sure that we see many iconic things. And that is also one of your prized possessions of your trophy of your match against the parliamentarians. Sir.
Exactly. Parliamentarian, they made a good team. They are good youngsters as well. Mr. Sudhi was a captain,
Sir.
and it was organized in Shalimar ground here. And that was a very good match, good crowd. But we senior cricketers of Islamabad beat them and brought this trophy.
So, experience was on your side, youth was on there, but experience won in the end. But, sir, interesting, and now, of course, we've got so much to talk about as well at the same time, so we'll probably be moving on back there as well.
This is my son's family,
Right, sir.
2 kids, wife, and myself, my wife. Then we have the similar photographs here,
Yes.
my son and wife. This is my twin cricketing couple.
Ibrahim and Mariam, sir.
Ibrahim and Mariam.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
Ibrahim is now, at the age of 17, is 6 feet now. and a very good fast bowler. This is again the grandchildren. This is all grandchildren. This is my daughter. Along with these two twins.
So that's the young Ibrahim and Mariam over there. Mariam over there as well.
And this is our various set of photographs.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful indeed. Now we witnessed all the awards and the accolades and the memorabilia that is there. We call it the prized possession that any young man has, in his place where he can keep them and remember those glorious times that he's lived through that history as well. But I think the most interesting phase, Sir NAUSHAD, has been your career as an ICC match referee.
Yes.
And I think on the conclusion, I am tempted to ask you about the experience you've had as an ICC match referee, because obviously the itty-gritty things and the legislation, and I mean keeping an eye on not just the players but the ground staff, the officials, everybody who's officiating the game as an ICC match referee. How has that career unfolded, sir?
You see, Ahmed, this is a very responsible job. When test match or any other match is fixed in between two countries, ICC match referee exactly represent the ICC on the ground in all respect. I mean, umpire can take a decision what's happening on the ground. Administrator take a decision outside the ground in the buildings. But ICC match referee has got the right to do so many things. I'll give you an example. Say a security plan. Well, Pakistan recently been talking about that. You see, security plan, there are a lot many things have been seen, like traveling in the buses, like traveling in the plane, like the hotel accommodation, like security at the ground. If he finds a flaw in that and he reports, there is a serious action on that, one. Then on the technical file, I mean, a decision is taken. Say, for example, there is rain in the ground. The two teams, one agree, one doesn't agree. Umpire could not take a decision because of some reasons. It is the authority of the ICC match referee to change the venue and take the match to another ground. So what I'm trying to say is a very responsible job. I have done it honestly. I've traveled because of being ICC match referee all over the world. And the prominent cricketers who have been, corrected by me is Nasir Hussain, the present coach of the Pakistan team.
Bradburn, sir?
No, the two brothers.
Flower, Mr. Flower.
Yes, sir. Andy Flower.
Yes, sir.
He was the captain of the Zimbabwe when I punished him.
But sir, the Nasir Hussain incident is very special,
Yeah.
because there was a lot going on the field at that time when then they came to you for
Yes.
that inquiry that was held.
Well, actually, what happened? The wicketkeeper took a catch. That was maybe it is a click, but the umpire refused. The whole team shouted at the umpire, "Is out, is out." But since the prime responsibility of the captain, so Nasir Hussain was picked up on that,
Sir.
and he was taken for the hearing.
Definitely, that's an interesting phase as well. But obviously, like you said, sir, that a very responsible job, and somebody who's at the helm of affairs representing the ICC as a match referee, that has got to be an iconic part of your career as well. To keep an eye on so many things, I think the use of technology has helped a lot, especially the stump mic, picking up whatever is being said on the field, and we've had moments on social media where we've heard the funniest stump mic incidents all over the world as well. So that's interesting. But sir, like I always say, have said on various programs as well with you, that I am so blessed to enjoy your company and always honored, and we're very, I think, thankful to you for opening your doors to us as well and giving us a chance to celebrate your life and live it with your words of wisdom as well, and definitely enjoy all these lovely memories that you've walked us through as well. And one thing is for sure, sir, that from your wisdom and guidance, we have certainly learned a lot, and I mean that with true honesty. And I am sure that you've heard it on many occasions, but once again, sir, because we're celebrating Independence Day, on behalf of the Pakistani nation, and I can represent them at this stage, I would like to say that the nation thanks you and salutes you for your services to not only Pakistan cricket, Pakistan Army, but Pakistan in general, sir. So thank you very much for your service. Is there any message, sir, you'd like to give out to the youth, anything special regarding 14th of August, because it is Independence Day, sir?
Love your country. It is very hard to get independence. And once you get independence, it is very hard to protect it as well. Please be united. Thank you.
Sir Naushad, thank you very much. And once again, sir, we wish you all the best. A lot of good health as well. May you keep on playing golf, sir, and inspiring us at the same time as well. But once again, sir, thank you very much for your time on Sports Extra.
Thank you.
There you have it, all you need to know about this fantastic and glorious career of the living legend, Sir Naushad himself. And like I always said, that we need to celebrate our heroes, and these legends need to be honored. And like I said, that the entire Pakistani nation now knows the story of Sir Naushad Ali, and this young boy, like I said, you know, making history as a Pakistani cricketer from the armed forces, representing there as well. You can talk about serving your country, and you know, we always say give something back to Pakistan. Sir Naushad is living to tell the tale of how he's given it back to Pakistan on multiple occasions and on multiple positions he's held as well during his career as a cricketer, as an ICC match referee, as a person of the armed forces, all in between. I think one thing is for sure, that he has done this country proud. And on that note, I think from me and the entire team of Sports Extra, it will be goodbye. But like Sir Naushad said as well, that it is Independence Day, and the importance of independence should not be celebrated once, but I think daily, because it is truly a blessing of Allah Almighty as well. That's a wrap from me and the entire team. It's goodbye for now.